Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Dayna Rubin. I have a new look going on. For those of you that are longtime listeners and friends, you'll see that my hair is straight. I went and got my hair straightened, and I mean, it is long. I got some locks over here. So I usually have my mom bun going on, and my hair is naturally curly. But I recently had a birthday, so I went ahead and had some fun and invested in a day of pampering, nails done, hair, pedicure, all the fun stuff. So I think everyone needs that every now and then, if not regularly, because it makes you just feel really, really good. You can feel good all the time, but when you have someone else working on you, it's very nice. So make sure you treat yourself to that. So today I wanted to make a 3-part series on who is Dayna. You know, I talk a lot about my experiences from a childbirth perspective, pregnancy. I try to share that vision because it was life-changing for me. So I know it could be life-changing for some of you. But let's go back all the way back to 0 to 20, and really talk about my upbringing, basically. So I was born in Miami, Florida, and 1979. So that was, the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, a different way of life compared to now. But either way, it was really good. My parents are both from Jamaica. So their parents were born and raised in Jamaica, and then they were born and raised in Jamaica. My mom moved around a little bit more, and I wanted to show you a picture of my grandparents because this is something I have an altar that I created for the ancestors to show them that I connect with them and I see them and I'm connected to their lineage and I'm connected to clearing their blocks, to be honest with you. But this, and I'm going to do this old school with pictures in a frame. So this is my mother's mom and dad. So this is, these are the folks that ended up in Bahamas, and the patriarch of the family was a pastor. So he would island hop from place to place and build churches and build communities, and they had 9 children. You know, those stories that you hear about people living off the land and, making, it's almost kind of like The Sound of Music where, they look at drapes and they end up making an outfit for the whole family. That's kind of how their life was. It was very humble and it was very grounded. And I think that I got a lot of beautiful things from them on their side of the family. Then this is my dad's side of the family. This is my dad's mom and dad. And they are both 100% Indian. That's why my hair gets so straight when I straighten it. Their ancestry is from India. And they ended up in the West Indies, or Jamaica, as most people call the West Indies, is Jamaica as well. And they both came, the ancestry from there on my grandmother's side of my dad's side of the family, she was actually mostly Chinese. So I do have this beautiful lineage, a beautiful tapestry of wonderful ethnic vibes going on in my family. So they both were living in Jamaica, and then my mom ended up going to Nassau, Bahamas, and my dad left when he was 17 to go to Nassau, and he met my mother in church, very church-abiding folks. They are Seventh-day Adventists, so I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. They met each other in church. They locked in, connected, and then they didn't see each other for 2 years, which I think is awesome. So when they reconnected, they were friends for quite a while, and then they were best friends first, and then they got married, and they just celebrated 50 years of marriage, so that works. So growing up, they both were able to move here to the States, and because my mom got a work visa as a nurse, and my dad's an electrician, and they were able to move here, and they had my sister first, so she's 2.5 years older than me. And then I came along in 1979, and it's funny because yesterday was my birthday, so my dad was talking to me and he said, when you were born, you didn't look like a newborn. You were not wrinkly. You had a lot of hair. So my mom had heartburn. That's, the thing. They say if you have a lot of heartburn, your son or daughter is going to come out with a lot of hair. And you looked like a 2-week-old baby, but you were just freshly born. So I attribute that to my old soul, because the old souls, they come in here already knowing the drill. Like, yep, I know what I need to do. So I ended up living in Miami, Florida for the first 6 years of my life with the family. And my dad was very adventurous because he lived a very structured, rigid life in Jamaica. So when he came here, and there was Disneyland, and there was, Universal Studios, or all the parks in Orlando, which was not too far away from us, for a 4-hour drive. We would do that day trip where we drive up to Disney, hang out for the whole day, and then come back down. And back then, the tickets were really inexpensive. They were like $25. That's crazy. They're like over $100 now. But that was my childhood. There was a lot of adventure. There was a lot of travel. Also, my parents went to Bahamas a lot to visit people that they knew. So they would go to Bahamas, and I would be able to, go on plane rides and visit family. And it was a beautiful upbringing. Was it structured? Yes. Was it rigid? Yes. But at the same time, and that was more from the religion side of it. We went to church every Saturday, and we did things that were very grounded. We went to the beach a lot. We cooked food from scratch. We made a lot of things that were from the islands. So I grew up with curry goat and a lot of things that are very Caribbean. So I had this beautiful cultural experience growing up as a kid. We moved to California when I was around 6 years old. And from between 6 and 9 years old, we were in California. We had an aunt and an uncle that lived there on my mom's side. And my parents just wanted a different form of scenery. They always want to be next to the ocean. So I've never lived in a landlocked environment. I think it's interesting. I love mountains, but we were able to get all of that in California. We left right around 4th grade, came back here, and I finished school here. We were in public school. I was in private school, actually. I was in a Christian school the first several years of my life. And when we moved back to Florida, we went into public school. And I think public school was a little bit more colorful. It was interesting. There wasn't as much bias or judgment, which I think that was really good. And we just had a lot of fun. So, yes, there were moments that were kind of nutty and things that I saw that I didn't compute in my brain. I remember moving to California. We were driving through LA, and I saw a guy getting mugged, like right on the street. And that happens in Miami too, but that wasn't something that I ever saw. So things like that jump out as something that was kind of overwhelming to me as a very young person. I also felt very sensitive. I felt like I could feel everything, and I am definitely an empath and an old soul. So I came in with this very open space within my body. And I'll explain that in one of the other videos when I talk about human design. But it was very overwhelming. So for me, I kept cutting it in half. I'm like, well, if I could experience just half of this, then it'll feel better. And then if I could take this half and cut it in half again and experience just half of that. And I kept cutting the sensitivity in half until it was manageable. Now, I don't know where that came from. That was something that just popped in. It probably came from my higher self now that I think about it. But it was something that really helped me get through the earlier years. I'm much more detached now, but I also have, the depth of feeling when it comes to that. So I went through middle school, high school, and then went into college here in Florida. And I went to Florida International University. So I'm going to stop the video here. We're going to make a part 2 about being in college and then going on my own. and I hope to see you in the next video. My website is daynarubin.com, and you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. So see you in the next video, and thank you for spending some time with me to talk about some history. Take care.